Hello out there. Yeah, I was going to try to make a little video here and talk about the extreme Islam or the radical Muslims or 50,000 other names they give this group. I was wondering, I know there's liberals out there and there's conservatives out there and there's Baptists and there's atheists and Catholics and Mormons and whatever, everything in the world. What I'd like to address is the radical Muslim. Now, I think this is wrong. If you have a Baptist that believes in the Bible, he don't believe in abortion, they don't believe in gay marriage and gay sex, now are that Baptists a radical, or is that just a Baptist being a Baptist? That's what he believes in. That's what the book teaches him. So you really can't call him a radical. Then you have the ones that claim they're Baptists, but they're for abortion, they're for gays being married and what have you, and they call them moderates. And to me, it's they're not a Baptist at all, because if there's enough Christians out there, enough groups and stuff, they all think a little different. They interpret things a little different. I kind of think a Baptist is pretty much, I think of him as a Southern Baptist, the Bible thumping, black and white, conservative type Baptist. Then we get on the Mormons. I really don't know that much about them. I don't think they would try to indoctrinate us. I don't think they would try to change our views or try to conquer us or kill us if we don't believe in them. It's one thing is with me is, if the scriptures that was handed down to old Smith was so important and he had to have special glasses to read them, he ought to took care of it a little bit better, because I guess he lost both of them. Then but getting back with Muslims and Islam, if you read Islam has 3 books. Basically they have a book of laws, a book of Muhammad's life, and the Quran. And the Quran is supposed to be what God told Muhammad in a cave. Well, not all of it, but because he was out killing people and running around when he got, they never really described when he was up in Turkey killing people how God talked to him. My question is, if God came down and said, Ralph, I want you to start a new religion, and this is what I want you to preach, I think he would do it in person. I don't think he'd send an angel. I mean, that'd be kind of like nowadays, God sending you an email, hey, why don't you start a new religion, email you, and, I don't think it works that way. But then, getting back to Islam, if you read their teachings, their books, what they believe, cutting people's hand off for stealing, or killing homosexuals, or killing women that ain't faithful and stuff, that's their laws, that's their teachings, that's what they believe. They have no problem conquering a country by force. That's what Muhammad done. That's how Islam spread. That's how the Ottoman Empire got to be so big. So to call these guys radicals is wrong. They're just true believers of the Islam faith, doing the word of Muhammad, working out of their books, preaching what what the books tell them to preach, and that's where they are. So to have this little saying, the people over there at 9/11, or the people that the other day over in Libya and Egypt and all of them, they're radicals. I think they're true believers. They believe the word, and that's the way they do it. It's just like me, if I believe in something, I'm going to preach that, and I'm going to act on it the way it's according to my beliefs. If a Baptist, you had a Baptist doctor out there performing abortions, married to the same sex, my thing is, I don't think he'd be a Baptist. He stepped over and done something different and not in line with what Baptists believe. That's the same way with Islam. If you're sitting here thinking that these people out here killing people and beating them up and chopping them up and all this stuff is radical, you're wrong. That's just what they believe. The radicals would be the ones outside the fringes everybody calls moderate. Well, they're not moderate. They're just not doing what their belief tells them to do. You know, Muhammad started off peaceful. Well, he got run out of Mecca and he went up north. Then he grew an army and came back down and conquered Mecca. You know, then he went out and started spreading the word all over the world. You know, back in those days, he was into Spain, had Spain almost conquered. He was over into France. They was over into, you know, Germany, all down into Africa. You know, they didn't go in there like the Catholics or the Baptists or the Mormons did and set up a church and preach and help them and all this stuff. They just went in with a group of guys with knives, swords, and you had a choice. You could either convert to being a Muslim or you could die. Well, then after they went in and conquered, you know, enough people to take over the country, the ones that was left, if they wanted to live and not be a Muslim, then they had to pay a tax. You know, 25% of everything you make went to Islam. You know, Iran is probably the most true Islam nation they are. They run the government and rules and stuff by Islam. Okay? But now then when it gets down to the people, then they start becoming a moderate. They start, you know, they let the women run around without being covered and all this stuff. But on the political stage, on the national stage, they're pretty much pure Islam. On the stage there at home, they pretty much let the people kind of get away from that, basically so they don't overthrow the government. The Taliban, we went in and kicked their little heinies and kicked Bin Laden, killed him. If you really go back in and look at the teachings, these weren't extremists, nutcases. These were true believers, and this is what they believe. Look at Saudi Arabia. You know, just tell here lately, Saudi Arabia's women couldn't vote, they couldn't drive, they couldn't be outside by themselves. People, you need to learn what Islam is. There's a misconception of Islam. And the true believers are the ones that are raising all the hell. So I don't know, it's nobody teaches you that. And everybody's like, well, people accuse Obama of being a Muslim. Well, he acts like one. You know, during their last holiday, they couldn't wear jewelry. That's part of their belief. Well, Obama didn't have his ring on and didn't wear a wristwatch. Now he is. I don't know if it tells you anything or not. He's had more Muslims come into the White House than he has Christians coming into the White House. Does that mean anything? Last week, everything was going on. The news kind of passed over the fact that he told Palestine that Israel and them, when they live together in Jerusalem, will be Palestine's capital. If you remember back when they had their convention, they took God and Jerusalem out of their paperwork, their plan. Well, then they've had to vote that back in. If you look at the vote, 2/3 did not vote yes on that. If you really look at it, it looks like to me over half of them voted no, but they still passed it because they have to appease the American people. They have to appease the Kool-Aid drinkers out there, the people that are asleep, the sheep that's being run around. You know, the media just kind of like leaves them here. Obama says something, then the next day the media repeats it, until you think it's the truth. Wake up, people. You're smarter than that. Yeah, I know your lives are busy, times are rough, times are hard, but you better figure out what you want for America. You better figure out what you want for your kids, your grandkids. You know, it's sad. It's really sad, the position we're putting the United States in. So, I don't know. What else I was going to gripe about? Obama's flip-flopping. Everybody knows he's doing that. Now, they're saying that has some friendly fire over there in Afghan. I really haven't heard a little bit of blip about it. Really haven't got no information. Been looking at that one. One thing that's got me, Obama clan helped Hollywood with enough information on the Bin Laden killing that they made a movie out of it. Now let me get this let's get this out in proportion now. He's making a full-fledged millions and millions of dollars a movie, big fancy movie. All right, they don't have a problem with that. That's good. Obama likes that. Over here, some dickweed out there made some little fluffy movie, cost them probably $38 and some change, and they think that all this uprising and all this upheaval is because of this little podunk movie. People, you're smarter than that. That movie's been around for a long time. Yeah, they dubbed it over to their Arabic language, but it didn't get viewed that much. You don't see it, running around. People protesting the movie or protesting the old boy that done it and stuff. You got an American's Justice Department going in investigating him for hate crimes. They ain't hate crimes, that's free speech. Bill Moyer went out there, he spent an hour criticizing Christians and just basing them and doing the same thing with Islam. Calling old Muhammad all pervert and child molester and all this, but he's a left-wing nut. And since he gave Obama $1 million for his campaign, nobody's saying a word about it. But yet we're supposed to believe this guy here makes this little old cheap movie. He's causing all the upheaval in the world. Wake up, people. It's just craziness. It looks crazy, sounds crazy, it is crazy. Dang. Okay. I guess most of this is just people just don't really understand. A lot of people don't. I make these little videos. I try to do some blogging. I do a little bit of this and that, trying to get the word out there. A lot of people just asleep, don't understand, don't want to take the time. A lot of them out there, they see something on Facebook, by God, that's gospel. They see something on MSNBC, that's gospel. 99% of it's crap. Those you see in the end, the other day, the little guy that made the film, they figured out who he was and plastered his photograph all over CNN and where he lives at and all this stuff. Well, to me, I think that's kind of wrong. If he wanted people to know who he was and where he lived, he'd put that in the video. But since it's the left doing it and they want to blame the left for all this chaos we got going over there in Egypt and around, that's what they done. It was 9/11 when they had the attacks. Now they're coming out and they're saying there was no protests before the attack in Libya. That it was just an assault on the thing, they killed some people and whatever. That's just an attack on America. That's no different than on 9/11 when they flew the planes into the World Towers, or no different than when the Japs bombed Pearl Harbor. It's all an attack on America. Small, large, whatever, an attack's an attack. People need to kind of figure this stuff out. The next day they started firing up all over the world. Was it over this little movie? No. The clerics over there in Islam, they're posting it on the internet and on TV and stuff. Get out there, get behind this movement, and take the countries back. They want Islam to take the countries back. Too much of them is getting over. They're a little bit too moderate. They're a little bit too friendly with the United States. The hardcore Muslim says, read your hardcore beliefs here, and we're going to stick to them. If you're an infidel, you need to die. If you don't want to convert, you need to die. It ain't that hard to understand. If you want to know what they believe, go listen to their preachers preach. If you want to know what a Christian believes, go listen to the preachers preach. You don't hear Billy Graham standing up there telling you, go out there and kill people because of your beliefs. I know there's liberals out there, they're going to say, oh, what about the Crusades? Well, back in the days of the Crusades, the government and the church interacted a lot. That's why we have our First Amendment, Separation of church, it don't say a separation of church and state. What it says is the government won't make no church. So get that one right. But the Crusades basically was Europe hiring people to go over and fight Muslims to keep Jerusalem out of the hands of the Muslims. Look up your history. They wasn't over there fighting Jews. They was over there fighting Muslims. So I don't know, America. I think we need to get something done and learn some history. Maybe we ought to teach history in school again or something. I don't know. But just remember, the people out there acting all crazy, killing everybody and stuff, they're not radical Islam. They're not radical Muslims. They're the true believers. That's what Islam is. That's what it preaches. Go read the damn books. It's simple enough. Peace out.